This call is now being recorded.
सारों को बता दूंगा ये बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट टॉपिक है और अली ने बहुत अच्छे तरीके का दिया है, हमने बहुत अच्छे तरीके का दिया तो ये बड़ा जोर से सुनिए, जो क्वेश्चन वगैरह कंफ्यूजन हो वो आप लोग इनसे पूछेंगे।
करें सर स्टार्ट?
जी स्टार्ट करें।
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Ali Raza. My co-presenter name is Zain Sattar. We are the students of BS Honors Poultry Science 4th semester. We have been given an opportunity to talk about chilling and freezing. So we hope by the end of the today's presentation, you have better understanding about this topic. Next. So let us start. Following are my contents. First of all, chilling. And in chilling, we will describe regulations regarding chilling, methods of chilling, effects of chilling on meat, and second one is freezing. And in freezing, we will discuss freezing process, freezing methods, equipments of freezing, types and operations, effects of freezing on meat. First of all, we will discuss about chilling. During post-refrigeration, it is generally considered desirable to reduce the temperature of carcass to 10 degrees Celsius or below to delay the multiplication of microorganisms and prevent spoilage of meat. So we will discuss about chilling. This is the process of preserving meat. It inhibits the growth of microorganisms and it restricts the activity of enzymes. It reduces the temperature of carcass to the optimum, which is influenced by the age of the birds. It reduces the temperature of the body from 39 degrees Celsius to 5 degrees Celsius within few hours. As you are already familiarized with the dressed poultry, the dressed poultry must be chilled at 4 degrees Celsius for 20 minutes, and the shelf life of the chilled products is 5 to 6 days almost. Chilling is simply lowering the temperature of the carcass above the freezing point. And in chilling, ice crystals are not formed. Next, please. And here are some regulations regarding chilling. According to the United States Department of Agriculture, the poultry carcasses should be chilled within 2 hours of processing to 7 degrees Celsius to avoid spoilage and other activity of microorganisms. Poultry carcasses weighing less than 4 to 8 must be chilled to 4.4 degrees Celsius or lower in 4, 6 and 8 hours respectively. These are some regulations regarding chilling of the carcasses so that the microorganism would not grow in the carcasses and the carcasses will not be spoiled. Next, please. Now we will discuss about the methods of chilling. Here are some methods of chilling. First of all, immersion chilling in cooled water. Second one is air chilling. Third one is spray and evaporative chilling. And fourth one is super and deep chilling. First, we will discuss about immersion chilling. Next, please. It is a large tank whose length is 10 to 50 meters. Carcasses are passed through this tank in which chilled water or the mixture of ice and water are present. It also helps to reduce the microbial load of the carcasses. Counter current flow of the cold water. So the principle of the immersion chilling is counter current flow, in which the carcasses and the water are flowing in opposite direction. Sometimes it is supplemented with crushed ice to bring the temperature of the carcasses within 30 to 75 minutes to 4 to 5 degrees Celsius. And the average dwell time for mid-sized and small-sized birds is 30 to 40 minutes, and that for large turkeys is 60 to 90 minutes. Next, please. It is a picture of the immersion chiller, in which immersion chilling is done. Next, please. Here are some advantages of counter current flow. The coldest temperature is at the end of the tank, which helps to kill the bacteria, and it also reduces the microbial load, which improve the hygienic conditions of the process. The use of pre and post chiller is another improvement in obtaining a cleaner product. The immersion chiller is divided into two chambers, pre and post chiller. So it is an improvement in obtaining a cleaner product. Here are some limitations regarding chilling of the carcasses. It involves large quantities of water, which results in the weight gain up to 3.3%. Next, please. And now we will discuss about the air chilling. It involves the shackle line of the carcasses, which passed through the large rooms in which the cold air is circulating to reduce the temperature of the carcasses at the temperature of 7 to 2 degrees Celsius. Carcasses lose weight during air chilling, so care should be taken not to overdry the product surface. To overcome this, we sprinkle the water on the product to increase the humidity so that the carcass should not lose weight. It is suitable for soft-scaled birds at temperature 50 to 53 degrees Celsius because their outer dermal layer remains intact, appearance will be pleasant, and the birds sold in the fresh states. It is not suitable for highly scalded because its epidermis gets removed in plucking operation, which make the surface susceptible to dehydration and discoloration. Next, please. Here are some benefits of air chilling. First of all, it reduces the moisture pickup, and when we package the carcasses, it usually shows no exudation or drip loss when finally packaged. So here are some processors claims. Some also claims that microbial quality of air chill products is better than that of water chill products, but that is not always the same case. Next, please. And fourth methods of chilling is spray and evaporative chilling. Third one is it involves the combination of spray and air chilling. Cold water is constantly sprayed over the product while it moves along the shackle line. The principle of this method is to increase the rate of evaporative loss and by replacing the water lost to reduce overall weight loss. In this process, the carcasses gain weight at the rate of 0.7 to 1.7%, and the resulting moisture pickup in this process or in the cartridge will be less than that of water chill products, but it will be more than that of the air chill products. Next, please. And fourth one is super and deep chilling. In super and deep chilling, it involves chilling the cartridge by water, which is followed by putting them through air freezers, which is operating at 15 degrees Celsius approximately at 30 minutes. So after packaging, product is placed back in air freezers and then it is stored and distributed at -1 to -2 degrees Celsius. It results in crust freezing, which did not produce the quality problems during chilling. So deep chilling is between -2 to -4 degrees Celsius for broilers, and the shelf life of this process will be 3 to 5 weeks. Next, please. Now we will discuss about the some effects of chilling on meat. On the flavor, chilling has almost no effect on the flavor, but it has some effects on the texture. So in PSC conditions, rapid chilling is done to alleviate the PSC problem, but it can also cause a cold shorting. Now, to overcome the cold shorting, hot boning is done after evisceration as alternative to chilling. Slow chilling decreases the pH of meat and affect meat quality as lighter color, high drip loss, and cooking losses. Sir Faisal also described this concept in the class. You have already familiarized with this concept. So next slide, please. Now we will discuss about freezing. Freezing is just lowering the temperature of the cartridge below the freezing point. In the freezing, the products are frozen, and the temperature of the freezing ranges between 0 to -18 degrees Celsius, and the shelf life of the freezing products will be 1 year, and it also extends the shelf life of the cartridge. So freezing is a method used to preserve food by lowering the temperature through which water is changed into ice. We observe three stages during freezing. First stage, temperature drops gradually to freezing point, and next, the product will freeze, and with the time, the product is overcooled. Next, please. Here are some freezing processes which are described: online freezing and offline freezing. In online freezing, the products are frozen as a part of continuous manufacturing assembly line. So exit line produces frozen products. Or in offline freezing, the process in which food product physically removed from production line in order to freeze it in a separate manufacturing step or location. Online freezing, just a shackle line is carcasses are hanged on shackle line. We obtain the frozen products from the shackle line. But in offline freezing, the products are physically removed from the shackle line in order to freeze it in a separate location. So it is the main difference between online and offline freezing. Next, please. Here are some freezing methods. Slow freezing and fast are also described in the class. So slow freezing form extracellular ice crystals, but fast freezing forms both intra and extracellular ice crystals. Slow freezing form the large crystals which cause more damage to the cells, but fast freezing forms small crystals and it causes relatively less damage to the cells. When meat is thawed, there will be a loss of a nutrient and also cause dehydration of the meat or cell. It also in fast freezing less water as well as nutrient loss when meat is thawed. Next, please. Now we will discuss about the freezing equipments which are used in the industry. Still air freezers. It is mostly used in domestic and some large refrigerated rooms in processing plants. In this freezers, heat is slowly removed from the product and forms the large ice crystals, which can cause the damage to the cell or meat. The temperature ranges between -10 to -40 degrees Celsius, and heat transfer is done through the convection mechanism between hotter product surface and colder air moving surrounding. Convection is basically the heat transfer between the fluids. Next, please. The second one is air blast freezers. It is the latest version of still air freezer which we described previously. It have higher freezing rates so rapidly removed heat from the product. It rapidly removed heat from the product. It used high velocity cooled air circulated by fans to provide rapid air movement, and its air velocity exists between 0.5 to 2.5 meter per second, and its temperature ranges between -18 to -29 degrees Celsius. And it is the picture of the air blast freezers as you can see in the picture. Next, please. The third one is plate freezer. It is also known as contact freezers. It is used for the wrapped meat, which is placed in the trade, which is indirect contact with the metal freezers or shelves. And it is also used for thinly packed fillet or ground meat patties. And heat transfer in this method is with the conduction. Conduction is basically the heat transfers between the objects by direct contact. So heat transfer occurs from sides of the product by conduction. Its temperature ranges between -10 to -30 degrees Celsius. The, the picture shows the plate freezers as you can see in the slide. So next, please. The next one is liquid immersion or spray freezer. It is commonly used in poultry industry to freeze the packed products with irregular shapes. The products are immersed in secondary refrigerants, which remain liquid throughout the process. Basically, secondary refrigerants are sodium chloride, glycol, propylene glycol, and mixture of salt and sugar. The secondary refrigerants used as freezing must be non-toxic and approved by government. Should be inexpensive and low freezing point and good and have the good heat conductivity. Next, please.
तो जैन आपने जो कहाँ से स्टार्ट करना है?
Yes, sir.
आपका पार्ट कहाँ से स्टार्ट होगा?
सर अभी 2-4 स्लाइड्स के बाद आना है, अगर कहते हैं तो यहाँ से कर लेते हैं।
नेक्स्ट यहाँ से स्टार्ट कर दो।
जी सर, मैं करूँ?
हाँ जी, अब आगे से आप स्टार्ट हो जाओ। माइक ऑफ कर दो।
Now we are going to discuss about mechanical freezers. And those mechanical vapor compression refrigeration is vaporizes and condenses heat alternatively as it circulates in a closed circle. Basically, in vaporization, heat is vaporizes and during condensation it is rejected, so product gets frozen. And in temperature in mechanical freezer is around -40 degrees Celsius with ammonia as refrigerant. Why we use ammonia in these freezers? Because ammonia is non-toxic and it also has non-depleting ozone layer and also cause no global warming effect for, so we use ammonia as refrigerant in these freezers. Now, what is air freezers? Basically, air freezers used in poultry industry that have many designs and product that is packed or unpacked is frozen by exposure to air, which is circulating by fans. Main heat transfer mechanism between hotter product surface and colder air moving surrounding is convection. And the temperature ranges from -18 degree to -14 degrees Celsius, and the air velocity which is circulated by fans is around 0.5 meter per second. Now, what is cryogenic freezers? Basically, the word cryogenics is a branch of physics that deals with production of extremely low temperatures by means of evaporation of liquefied or solidified gases at atmospheric pressure. And you know all well, atmospheric pressure that is 760 millimeter of mercury. So in these freezers, we use gases like nitrogen, carbon dioxide or helium, both in liquid or vapor form, and the gas that is used is sprayed onto the food product, and the droplets touch the product surface, extract its heat, and the products get froze. And the temperature upper limit is minus 150 degrees Celsius, and so this is extremely low temperature, and ultimately the rate of freezing is so high. And this extreme low temperature achieved because the boiling points of nitrogen and carbon dioxide are also extremely low. So this is used for fully or partly cooked products to preserve them, and it is the best way because the freezing rate is so high. So freezing rate is high, and ultimately there is small crystal ice formations and less damage to cell. These are the pictures which show cryogenic freezers. Now we will discuss about cryomechanical freezers. As their name indicate, it is a combination of two words, cryo and mechanical. So it is two-step process. In the first step, food gets content with cryogens, which we already discussed in cryogenics, like nitrogen, carbon dioxide, and outer layer. And in the freezer, the outer layer of meat form a thin crust of ice. While in the second step, we transfer it to the mechanical freezers, where the remaining heat is removed and product temperature reduced to -18 degrees Celsius. And this is used for products that tend to change their appearance like meatballs, meat patties, and chicken scallops. Now, what is freezing types and its operations? So first of all, freezing rooms. These are cold storage rooms, sometimes used to frozen the products, but not properly considered freezer. And there is no standard design, and the design of size and size of room determined by volume and type of product that are frozen, its packaging, and the equipment used for its handling. and the method of its palletization and accessibility required. It is a picture of freezing room. Now, cabinet freezers. Basically, these are used for lower capacities, for example, few hundred kg per hour, and the products are placed on trays which then placed into racks, and each rack is then pushed into a freezer. These make use of mechanical refrigeration or cryogenics. As in mechanical refrigeration, cold air temperature, whose temperature is minus 35 to minus 40 degrees Celsius, circulated by air by fans over the products. And while in cryogenics, we use mixture of gases like nitrogen carbon dioxide, whose droplets touch the product surface and it gets froze. It is These are the pictures that are related to cabinet freezers. Now, what is push-through trolley freezers? These are air blast freezers consist of an insulated tunnel equipped with two or three conveyor rails and forced air coolers. And when the trolley is fully loaded, wheeled racks or trolleys are pushed manually into the freezer at one end, and usually the movement of trolleys is countercurrent to the airflow. Air and the trolley move opposite to each other, and the temperature ranges exist between minus 35 to minus 40 degrees Celsius, and the velocity of air, that is around 1.5 to 5 meter per second. These are the pictures that show the push-through trolley air freezers. Now we will discuss about belt-drive tunnel freezers. Basically, these are broad class of food processing freezers, and the product is conveyed horizontally on perforated stainless steel belts through a long insulation enclosed tunnel. And these also make use of mechanical refrigeration or cryogenics. As we already discussed, in mechanical refrigeration, colder air circulated by fans over the products, and in cryogenics, we use mixture of gases like nitrogen carbon dioxide. And these also have various designs like straight belts, multi-pass straight belts, fluidized belts, and impingement freezers. These are some pictures of now straight one-pass belt freezers. Basically, it consists of two mesh conveyor belts in series which carry products through the freezing tunnel. And this is also called two-stage belt freezer because it consists of two mesh conveyor belts. So in the first belt, initially pre-cools the outer layer of product, while in the second, the freezing of product is completed. So these freezers operate at temperature minus 1 to minus 4 degrees Celsius in the pre-cool section, while in the next section, the temperature goes to minus 32 to minus 40 degrees Celsius. So when the products are too hot, so we use another freezing section that is added ahead of the normal pre-cool section. And instead of evaporator coils, these freezers has nozzles to spray nitrogen or neon onto food products. It is a picture of a trace one pass belt freezer. Now, what is multi-pass straight belt freezers? This is this is design used with any larger products that than 1 centimeter round or thick, means whose thickness is 1 centimeter round or thick, and without surface moisture with longer freezing times. And both mechanical refrigeration and cryogenics version exist in the market, and it contains stacking beds above each other to form either a single feed multi-pass system or multi-single pass system stacked one on top of the other. The speed of each belt is controllable independently. The person near this freezer can control the speed of this freezer, and it's aptly Applications include fried or baked poultry products such as nuggets, burgers, chicken parts, and ready meals. These are the pictures that are related to multi-pass straight belt freezers. In the picture, you can see clearly there are different straight multi-pass belts. Now, flighted tunnel cryo freezer. It has a continuous flighted conveyor belt, and the belt gently tumbles the product while continually exposing new surfaces for maximum heat transfer and cryogen efficiency. And the product stacking in successive flights allows adequate retention to freeze the product fully to its core. It is used basically for baked, fried, or cooked chicken, cut up chicken, chicken tenders, and chicken nuggets. These are the pictures of flighted belt freezers. Now, what is fluidized bed freezers? They are designed well suited for individual quick freezing of small, like 0.5 to 5 centimeter in diameter, or uniform size products such as chicken scallops and meatballs. And these are characterized by heat transfer coefficients and good mixing that ensures excellent product quality. And these freezers have two freezing zones. In the first zone, product is crust frozen to provide strength and to minimize moisture loss, while in the second zone, freezing of partly frozen product is completed. And these are operate at temperature ranges between -34 to -37 degrees Celsius. These are some pictures of fluidized bed freezer. Now, impingement freezers. Basically, impingement freezer is provided with thousands of air jet nozzles positioned above and below the mesh belt conveyor system, which transport the food through a freezing tunnel. And jet nozzles direct air at velocity that is 20 to 40 meter per second perpendicularly to product surface, and this disrupts the boundary layers surrounding the product, resulting in very fast freezing and minimal dehydration. When the boundary layer of the product disturbs, the freezing rate is also very high because the air velocity is also high. So there is a fast freezing and minimal dehydration and less thaw and nutrition losses. And this is used to freeze thin and flat products such as fillet, patties, and chicken breasts. And these are operate at temperature -30 to 40 -40 degrees Celsius. These are the pictures of impingement freezers. Now, what is spiral belt freezers? These are one of the most common freezers types in food industry, and these use large scale box type freezers inside with a continuous flexible mesh belt that is formed into spiral styles and carries food up through a refrigerated chamber. And these also make use of mechanical refrigeration or cryogenics. And you know well what happened in mechanical refrigeration or cryogenics, which we are previously described. And these freezer is useful for products that have long freezing times, generally 10 minutes to 3 hours, and also useful for products that require gentle handling during freezing, like chicken portions, nuggets, raw and cooked patties, and a variety of packed products. It is a picture of spiral belt freezer. Now, what is tumbling and rotary cryogenic freezers? A rotary cryo freezer is a long insulated inclined rotating stainless steel tube. This cryofreezer combines ultra, ultra slow tumbling action with precise carbon dioxide or liquid nitrogen that is sprayed on the food to provide a highly accurate continuous freezing process. In the poultry industry, it is useful for bulk packed and boxed meat products such as striped, minced, either cooked or raw. Now we are going to discuss about the effects of freezing on the poultry meat. and these effects occur when the freezing is not properly carried out, like their freezing rate is not properly carried out, either slow or fast, and the time and duration, the temperature during the freezing not properly managed, then these problems arise. First of all, we will discuss about the freezing effect on the color. As you know well, color is important for meat acceptability because appearance determines attractiveness of fresh meat and it influences the consumer acceptance. So color is very important in the acceptance of meat, and color develops by presence of natural pigment. The color of skin develops due to carotenoids that are yellow to red lipid soluble pigments, for example carotenes and xanthophyll, while the color of muscles appears due to hemopigments like myoglobin, hemoglobin. Now the effects of freezing on color. As we know that final pH and temperature of carcass before freezing is most important factors in color after freezing. If the final pH of the meat is high, then there is dark color and less loss, while there is low pH of meat and high temperature, then protein denaturation occur and the color of meat tends to pale and there is more losses of thaw and nutrition. And we will also we will also observe dark to black bones by freezing, which is technically called bone taint, and because pigments and nutrients also release outside with water during thawing, and all of these factors affect meat quality and its color. Now, what is texture? Basically, texture is defined as result of physical properties perceived by touching, appearance, and sound. Or you can also say that difficulty or facility for chewing the meat is called texture. Now we will discuss about the effects of freezing on the texture. Meat texture primarily affected by protein structure and integrity. Basically, the proteins structure or their integrity makes the texture. So while so when they are disturbed, the texture also disrupt. And at a very low freezing temperature, protein denaturation caused by ice crystals, damage to cells and membranes, and the dehydration of the protein molecules, increase in the solute concentration in unfrozen water phase, enzymatic activity, and the reaction of proteins with free fatty acids and intact lipids, and the reaction of proteins with oxidizing lipids. All these factors causes the protein denaturation when the denaturation of proteins occurs, the texture ultimately affect. Also, high temperature during thawing cause more thaw losses and more shortening because fiber contract and the meat is tough. When we freeze the meat before onset of rigor mortis, then what will happen? It also causes toughness because disruption of calcium pump and release of calcium to sarcoplasmic reticulum produces rigor conditions. And when rigor conditions exist, you know there is extensive contraction occur and the meat is tough. So when we freeze the meat before onset of rigor mortis, then toughness of meat will occur. Now, flavor. Basically, flavor is a series of sensations perceived by two senses. Two senses makes flavor. First one is taste and the second one is smell. And taste may be salty, sweet, bitter, and sour. And now, what is umami? Basically, salty meat flavor is due to sodium chloride, monosodium glutamate, which is also called Chinese salt, or inosine monophosphate and guanosine monophosphate. These are used to improve the flavors, and Japanese call these compounds as umami. Now, the effects of freezing on the flavor of meat. When we talk about the flavor of meat, its effects, the freezing effects, there are different school of thought. Some people thought the freezing have no effects on the meat flavor, but some people thought that when lipid oxidation occur, there is which is called by density, there is unpleasant flavor in the meat that affects its flavor. So when the temperature at low temperature reduce the components that involves to improve flavor because reaction proceed as a much slower rate. As we all know very well that the rate of reaction affected by the temperature and it is directly proportional to the temperature. When the temperature is high, the reaction proceed at a much higher rate, and when the temperature slow, the reaction rate is also slow down. So when lipid oxidation occur, then the flavor of the meat affects, and it is a main problem in the poultry industry, and this is due to production of highly unpleasant flavor by density. Now we will talk about oxidation. That what is oxidation? Basically, unsaturated fatty acids in the meat react with molecules of oxygen to form free radicals which oxidize to aldehydes, ketones, and esters that are responsible for acidity during frozen storage. And this acidity reduced by addition of antioxidant or packaging in oxygen impermeable films. As we know, when we packing the meat in oxygen impermeable films, the oxygen are not provided in the meat, so unsaturated fatty acids will not react with oxygen and the oxidation will not occur and the flavor of meat will not spoilage. But some people thought that long-term storage improves flavor in positive sense because during long-term storage, when the meat is very long-term store, then the inosine monophosphate and glutamic acid, these compounds enhance the flavor of meat in a positive sense. So that's why we say that there are different school of thoughts related to flavor of meat. Some people thought flavor is not affected, and some thought flavor is affected. These are the references: Handbook of Poultry Science and Technology by Isabel Guerrero and Legreta, and The Science of Poultry and Meat Processing by Shai Burpert. From this, the data taken from these two books for our presentation. Thank you for your attention. If somebody have any question, then he or she can ask.
हाँ जी, क्वेश्चन फ्रॉम द ऑडियंस। जानी ये रिकॉर्डिंग आप ऑफ कर दें।